Aloha everybody, and welcome back to Kyle Astrology. I am going to be continuing my sun sign for the Scorpio Risings videos today, and the next one we have is what it's like for a Scorpio Ascendant to have their sun sign in Pisces. This is kind of like the one I did on having Cancer Sun with Scorpio Rising. We're dealing with double water here. Not taking into account whatever the person's moon sign is, but at least between the rising and sun, this is double water. And so it's going to be extra sensitive, extra feeling, extra tuned in, very intuitive, you know, all the basics, right? All the basic stuff about water. But let's get into the more in-depth part, which Scorpio Rising is all about. What's interesting to me about this one is Scorpio Ascendant is such a self-protective, persevering, just kind of always on lockdown, right? We want to have the one-up on everyone so they can't have it on us. Pisces, on the other hand, while, you know, a water sign, is very different than Cancer and Scorpio, which are both crustaceans. Cancer is represented by the crab, Scorpio is represented by the scorpion. Pisces is represented by the two fish swimming in opposite directions, right? So Pisces is the water sign, especially being the last and third of the water signs, the most spiritually evolved, right? Is just kind of openness and oneness and connectivity with all in the universe at whole, right? So Pisces kind of has this ability to relate to anyone from all walks of life and is very trusting and is kind of like the cosmic soup, the way I like to feel it. There's just this big soup of everyone and everything just mixed together. And because of it, they kind of have this sponge-like effect that just kind of absorbs everything, and they can be a little bit chameleon-like, you know, their colors kind of change depending who they're around, what environment they're in, and it's not that they're a fake person, but they have this blendability and adaptability about them, especially to tune into the emotional environment anywhere that they are, basically. But because of it, there is the potential for them to kind of become victims really easily of circumstance and fate and of people that don't always have the best intentions. So when you have a Pisces that has the Scorpio rising, this gives the typical sun sign Pisces that can be a bit kind of that damsel in distress kind of archetype in a way. When they have the Scorpio rising, it gives them this edge to where they're still this very compassionate person, but they have boundaries. A typical Pisces does not always do so well with boundaries and barriers. They're kind of just this open gate of love and emotion, right? But with a Scorpio rising, the Pisces Sun is going to be able to employ boundaries and kind of, you know, be a little more self-protective. Now, on the other end, sometimes Scorpio can be too self-protective and, you know, everything on lockdown, right? Not wanting to give away too much, more on the secretive side. This particular Scorpio rising is going to have the best of both worlds in the sense that because they have the Pisces Sun, they are going to, when they do feel out situations and people, they're going to let their barrier down maybe a little easier than a Scorpio rising with, let's say, one of the Earth signs, or maybe with Cancer Sun even. You know, they're really self-protective too. Or even the Leo Sun is always kind of protecting their ego, right? So this is really good because this is a Scorpio rising that's going to be able to let their guard down a little bit easier. But on the same time, just someone who has Pisces Sun with any other rising sign, on the flip side, this person is going to be a little more self-protective too. So there's a good balance there with this one. Another thing that I would probably add to this is that when it comes to matters of love and the heart, which are very important to Scorpio, and actually very important to Pisces too, you know, Pisces oftentimes has this idealized sense of love and romance and longing of connection with someone. They do it in a more detached way because it is in the later signs. Sagittarius through Pisces are more concerned with universal themes and truths and higher consciousness, so to speak, whereas Scorpio is more of that one-on-one relation. So this is going to be a Scorpio rising that is probably a little bit more concerned with kind of the bigger picture, so to speak. This is something that I think applies to both Sagittarius and Pisces when it comes to themes of the bigger picture, with Sagittarius in a much more higher mind way, and with Pisces it's like higher love, the higher octave of love, the higher octave of connection, and it's not quite so personal. Whereas with Scorpio, the emotion behind it is always the most personal thing. So this is going to be someone who, whatever their spiritual beliefs are, or lack thereof, and beliefs about love and whatnot, is going to be very important, but they are going to be able to ground it in the Scorpio rising way that brings it into their heart, and not just the cosmic heart. It's taking these universal cosmic themes and bringing it down into a relatable and more personal way that Scorpio wants to be able to connect with, because that's so important for us. So really those are some of the main themes with this one. It's got the higher end and lower end like always, but this is one of my more favorite placements for Scorpio Sun, for Scorpio rising sun sign combinations. So I hope this was helpful, everybody. More videos on this coming soon. Please check out my website, link down below, to check out doing a reading with me if you're interested for a discounted rate. And as always, much aloha and happy transiting.